Are you someone who is really struggling to figure out your purpose right now? Maybe you've decided you want more meaning, you want more fulfillment in your life, but you just can't figure it out. In this video, I'm going to share 5 of the most common reasons why people find it so hard to find their purpose. Hi there, my name is Andrea Horvath. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I am a career purpose coach. I help high-achieving women discover their purpose so they can confidently transition their careers into something where they're really excited to get up in the morning and where they feel truly valued, like they're making a difference. And even if they have absolutely no idea what that looks like or what that might be. So if this resonates with you, please subscribe and hit the notification bell to get notified when I share content. So first of all, I want to have just a quick brief overview. Why is this happening to so many people? Because it is. I talk to people every single day and I work with people who are really stuck and they want to figure out their purpose, and they're in their heads a lot. I talk to a lot of people who are just keep floating around in their heads trying to figure out how to figure this out. And if you look at the last few years of what we've experienced on this earth, we've gone through a lot. I don't think I need to tell you this, but we've gone through a lot. And what can happen when any one of us goes through a really, really challenging experience is we reassess our lives. And so many people have been doing that and gotten to the place where they're like, you know what? I'm not really where I want to be. I've maybe worked really hard in my career or in a certain area of my life, and I thought I wanted that, but I've changed. And as human beings, that's actually what we do. We do grow. We are meant to grow and adapt, and that's how we actually feel fulfilled. So if this is you right now, you are in the right place. You are exactly where you need to be in this moment. This is being undergone by so many people. But having said that, like I said, so many people are stuck. So I want to share those 5 most common reasons. First, I want to say this: these are in no particular order. It's not like one is more common or more important than the other. They are all equally important. And there may be more reasons than this. You have your own unique situation, your own unique circumstances. These are just 5 of the most common ones that I see. And I also want to share that I've done all these. Like, I've got stuck on all of these. I transitioned my career from being a corporate CPA in management to being a coach. And I struggled for so many years trying to figure out my purpose. And that's why I'm so passionate about sharing this. So maybe you can avoid doing the same mistakes that I did, or at least like minimize the time that you spend sitting in those mistakes, because mistakes are, part of the human experience. But if you can sort of move past those mistakes and those places where you're stuck much faster, hey, let's make this easier, right? Okay. So number one of the reasons why you might be finding your purpose so hard is that you are missing certain pieces about yourself. So living a life on purpose requires you to know yourself. Like, at your core, there are certain pieces you absolutely must know about yourself. And if you don't know all of them, it's kind of like having a house without a foundation. And we all know what that's like, right? You could build the walls up, you can put all the insulation in, the windows, the siding, all that kind of stuff. But if a strong wind comes, the house may not, or flood, the house might start to slide, right? And that's what happens. So you might think, okay, I've got my purpose, I'm good. And then a challenge comes along and a struggle comes along and you get knocked over, you waver in it. When you really get your purpose, it's like like it's it. Like, I have no doubt in my mind. There is not a moment where I question that I'm on the right path. There's never a moment. I am so confident in where I am and that I am living a purposeful life because I feel it every day, right? And it's not every moment of every day, don't get me wrong. There's moments where I'm like, and struggling. I'm human too, right? But there's no question in my mind that I'm in the right place doing the right thing. So if you don't have all the pieces, if something comes along and you're challenged and you're like, backing off and you're like, oh, maybe this isn't it. It's because you haven't got all those pieces. It truly is like a jigsaw puzzle. That's the best way I can describe it. The picture's not complete until you have all the pieces. So if right now you're like, oh, this might be my purpose, and maybe you went down a path for a little bit and you're like, I don't really know. Chances are you haven't got all the pieces yet. The second reason you might be finding it so hard is that you are too close to you. I'm going to unpack that here. As human beings, we live with ourselves our whole lives. And I know this from my own personal experience and my own journey, as well as working with people. We just don't see our stuff anymore. We don't see where we're blocked. We don't see where we're stuck in our heads. We create these beliefs about ourselves and about life that we have believed for so long that they become truths. And when something becomes a truth, we don't ever question it again. And that's why many people don't change, is because they're just with themselves. They're not allowing a different perspective to come in from somebody who truly sees them. And so they stay stuck. I've got a coach friend who describes this so beautifully. So imagine you've gone to the grocery store and you've bought a jar of pasta sauce, and you've cleaned that jar out, you've had the pasta sauce, and you hop inside that jar. It's like being inside that jar and trying to read the outside label of that jar. Like, you can't do it. It's just impossible. I see this so often when I work with clients. They will, I ask a lot of questions when I work with people because we're really drawing out things about themselves. And they'll say things to me, and I am always continually blown away at what people have achieved and their gifts and their talents that people just don't see anymore. Like, they just don't see anymore. It's because they're too close to it. And it's like, if I could do what you could do, like, I would be so happy, like, honestly. And we all have this, but we're so close to it. We don't recognize all these things anymore. We all have these journeys. Your purpose, and actually it's your purposes because there's multiple, and I'll explain this a little bit later. They're very unique to you. There is nobody else on this planet who has lived your life, who has your unique talents and gifts, qualities. It's so unique to you. That's just the way this is meant to be. But we lose sight of this because we live with ourselves every single day. The third reason you might be finding it really hard to find your purpose is you are looking outside yourself. What I see people often do, especially when they're trying to find purpose in their work, is they'll actually start to look for jobs that have a purpose to them without understanding themselves first. Or they'll try to mimic and do what somebody else is doing because that person looks like they're on purpose, right? But again, I go back to what I said in number 2. Your purpose is unique to you. You can't copy anybody else. And that's actually how it's supposed to be. Or you could be looking to social media. There are so many great things about social media, but there's also, it can be used against us, right? If we're not aware. And then if you're looking on social media and you are seeing people who look like they are living their purpose, they may or they may not be, but their purpose is going to be different than yours. You can't copy what they're doing, hoping that you'll feel the same way they do, because that's what people do. They go, okay, that person over there looks happy. I'm going to do what they do. But that works for them because they're them and you're you. The journey to finding your purpose is an inward journey. And as a society, we are conditioned to look outside ourselves for everything. But it really involves actually the inward journey. The fourth reason why you might be finding it so hard to find your purpose is that you think it's one thing. I got so stuck on this for so long, I cannot tell you. I thought I think I glorified it, really. I think it's what I did. I romanticized and I glorified when I find my purpose, it's just gonna be so obvious and it's gonna be like this aha moment, like it's gonna drop out of the sky. Honestly, I believe that. And as I say it, oh my gosh. I remember it like it was yesterday because I really believed it. I really, really believed it. And so then I would pick a purpose, but then I would have a new thought, like maybe it's this purpose or it's this purpose. And now what I know is that there isn't one, but they're all interlinked. They make sense. They actually all interlink and they make sense. Like it's not like random when there's a purpose over here, there's a purpose over here. So when I look at, say, my highest level purpose, highest, and I say it different ways, but it really is to expand the consciousness of humanity on this earth. Okay? That's one of my purposes. One of my purposes is to empower women. One of my purposes is to help people step into their power and be authentic. Like, there's just so many of them. So if you're looking for that one big thing, I'm here to tell you it's more than one. But this is actually good news because it's going to take total pressure off you. Take total pressure off you. So if you have a thought to yourself and like, okay, well, maybe this is the purpose, write it down. And if you have another one, write that down. Like every time you have a thought about, well, maybe this is purpose, and start to look at all the different thoughts you're having about what is your purpose. Is there a pattern? Is there a link? Can you actually link them all together in some way? Because they do link. So I would encourage you to try that exercise if you're just looking for that one, because a picture will start to form. Reason number 5 why you might be feeling like it is so hard to figure out your purpose is that people mix a whole bunch of things together. So what they'll say is, I want to find my purpose, but what they really mean is, I want to find my purpose so I can then have a career, do work that is aligned with that purpose. And those are two separate things. Again, they interlink 100%. But people will find that high level purpose and they're like, well, how do I actually translate that into a career? And how do I make money from that, right? And that's a whole separate process all in itself. When you look at your purpose, you're looking at your why, right? That's a common term that's used out there. But how you do it and what you do, those are completely different questions. So what I do with clients is I essentially figure out what that purpose is, and then I translate that and we work that down strategy-wise into how do you actually make money from that? How do you actually have a career that is aligned with that purpose? Because what goes along with that purpose are things about yourself, like your success needs, what you need to feel fulfilled every single day. Because it's great to feel, like you're on purpose. Like for me to say, well, I'm helping expand consciousness on this earth, but how do I execute that? How do I make a living off of that? How do I make that tangible? How do I bring that into form? But what I see often with people is they mix it all together, or they skip right to the how to find purpose in my work, like I mentioned earlier, or they stay stuck in the area up here where I'm just looking for a big vision and I have no idea how to bring it down into form. So understand that they're two separate things, they're linked, and you need to have a process to pull them all together. So those were the 5 reasons that I wanted to share today about why you might be finding it so hard to find your purpose. I'd love to hear your comments, what resonated with you, what are you struggling with right now? And if this did resonate with you, please like and share. I appreciate it so much. Down below, I have listed my social media links as well as my website address. I have a newsletter where I share all kinds of things about purpose and transitioning your career into something with more meaning. If you hop on my website, you can sign up for my email newsletter. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you soon.